Hello everyone, I'm AYDOGAN Vatandaş, the editor-in-chief of POLITURCO.com. Today I am joined by a well-known movie maker, a producer, a director, author, a scholar from Norway. Jorgen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to this interview. It's a pleasure to be here with you, AYDOGAN.
Jorgen, so I know you with your documentary, Gift from God. So first I want to ask you how the idea to make a documentary about a military coup attempt in Turkey came to your mind. So were you following the news in Turkey? Were you interested in the Turkish politics? How did it come to your mind to make a documentary about a military coup attempt in Turkey?
I think we have to start a little bit from the beginning because I'm married to a Turkish woman. And that means that Turkey is my second country. I've been to Turkey before the coup attempt, I've been to Turkey for 20 years. I've been living there partly with our kids and have a very close relationship to the country, to the people, to the culture, to the wonderful food in Turkey.
I see.
So I know the place very well. And this summer, we went, as many summers before, for holiday in Turkey.
So were you in Turkey in that summer in 2016?
We were there, yes.
So you saw the coup?
So we were there. We didn't really see it because we were not either in Ankara city downtown or Istanbul downtown, but we experienced it not far outside of Istanbul in our summer house there. And it was immediately a call we got from one of our family members in Ankara saying something strange is happening here in Ankara. Jets are flying low flyovers in the city, and please turn on the television. So very early we turned on the television and started following the development of this coup attempt from minute to minute from early in the evening.
Right. So you were familiar with the Turkish politics. So you're definitely aware of the previous coups in Turkey. So 1980, 1996, and the previous ones. So I understand that you know about the Turkish culture and the politics, but how did you decide to make a documentary about a military coup attempt in Turkey? Why was it interesting for you? Why was it newsworthy for you to make a documentary about it?
You know, I've been working as a journalist for many years. But the last part, I've been at university as a professor working there and as a researcher. I've been writing about Turkish politics and culture in Norwegian papers, interviewing authors and activists from Turkey. So I knew a lot about the Turkish politics and the Turkish situation. And the thing is that as many of people in Turkey and outside of Turkey, they have heard the rumors about a coup attempt coming, you know, because that has been in the papers the last 6 months before July 2016. You know, so in a way, everybody perhaps expected something to happen.
Right.
And then suddenly something happened. So we followed it closely and switched between the channels and tried to understand what is really happening, because we didn't see any coup plotters. You know, usually when you have a coup, then you take over the media, you take over the leaders of the country, and then you go out with a message.
So can you repeat that part, Jorgen? You said that you didn't see the coup plotters.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
We didn't see, when we switched between the televisions, the different channels, we didn't see on the channels anybody sort of taking the responsibility for what was happening.
I see.
And the thing is that it was all very chaotic. And I think Turkish people I've spoken to afterwards, they also experienced it as very chaotic and didn't really understand what is happening here. And you know, then late in the evening, from 12:30 on, the only one person we saw on television was Erdogan. You know, after FaceTime, he was the one speaking, and talking about that he knew who the coup plotters were. So from that on, things started to calm down in a sense. We started to understand that nothing more will really happen, even though we followed the development a couple of more hours. And then one of the guys, because we have a lot of people gathered there, families and friends, and one of the older members of the family said that I have experienced several coups in Turkey. This is not a coup, he said.
Right. So,
and then, of course, then my brain started working and seeing that there is something really strange happening here.
Okay, Mr. Lorentzen, can you tell us what was that strange thing in that military coup attempt? Why was it different than the other established military coup attempts in Turkey or in different parts of the world that we have seen, that we have read before? What was the strange thing with that coup attempt?
First of all, you can say, if you look at, for example, two very well-known coups, like the coup in 1980 in Turkey, or the coup in Chile in 1973, which has been broadcasted, and we can see a lot of films about and documentaries about these two coups. You see that it's enormous amount of military out in the streets. It's immediately a lockdown. It's immediately a takeover of the main, the president, the prime minister, the leaders of the country, and it's a total control immediately. Here, it was very few soldiers in the streets. And it seemed like when we saw from the bridge, when we saw from the airport, it looked like they didn't really know what they were doing. And we could see it sometimes, we could see it close up in their faces that they were disturbed, they were nervous, they didn't really know what is happening here, and then different type of messages was coming. So everything was very confusing, and it didn't look like a really coup that like we know from authoritarian regimes,
Right. So, Jorgen, if it is not a real coup, what was it? I mean, are you suggesting that it might be a false flag coup attempt?
First of all, because something was strange on this level, then you start as a journalist asking questions.
Right.
And that is the most important part for me to do, that's asking questions.
What kind of questions did you ask?
First, I started to find people and ask them what they thought about this. And the thing is, which is very also strange, that no one really wanted to talk. Very few had any ideas. We saw thousands and thousands of people were fired from schools, universities, nurseries, hospitals, that for sure we knew it had nothing with the coup to do.
Right.
Of course, if you are a nurse working in a hospital mid-Turkey, you don't know anything about a coup attempt in the military.
Right.
So then, of course, you understand that there is something going on here, which is it's related to the coup attempt, of course, because it's a cleansing of the Gulenists in the system. But not only the Gulenists. After a while, they also took Marxists, Kurdish people, other critical persons. That was like they closed down Cumhuriyet very early. Started a case against Cumhuriyet, and now they have started new cases. So since 2016, they have taken and imprisoned anybody that is critical to the regime.
So you started to ask critical questions about the coup attempt, and then did you go to Turkey to interview people? How long did you stay there, and how long did it take?
Yeah, then in the beginning, it was very hard to find anybody that wanted to speak.
Right.
Anybody that knew anything, because the people I spoke to, they knew very little, and they were also very confused.
Right.
And then, of course, Erdogan gave out this booklet of proofs, sort of. And as a journalist, you can easily read that. And I spoke to a lot of other international journalists, and you can easily see that this is full of not very valuable truth about what happened. So of course you can understand that I felt that there's something strange going on here. But then I worked with a documentary for 3 years.
Right. It took 3 years?
Yeah, because the first year I almost got no information,
right.
No material, no documents. And then people started leaving Turkey, some high officers starting leaving Turkey, coming to Norway, coming to other countries in Europe. And then I was able to speak with top officers in the military that had experienced it.
What did they tell you?
And then they started telling me, I mean, some of them are in the film. That was a part of the army, a part of the navy, top officers in the navy and NATO officers, and they started telling me what they're telling me in the film, that there is something strange here and they cannot understand it, and they don't believe that it was a coup attempt in the way that Erdogan was telling about it. Something else is behind here. But the thing is that, and I have to say this honestly as a journalist and as a researcher and filmmaker, that still I really don't know. I cannot say for 100% sure that these people are behind or these people are behind or this happened, because that type of last document is still missing.
I see. So you still didn't make your final conclusion?
That's right.
Okay.
And you can see that also in the documentary, that I'm not making a final conclusion. I'm just putting forward the material and saying there is another truth here than Erdogan is telling.
Okay. So what is your impression in Europe, in European countries, in Western countries? Do you think that they bought that argument that it was Gulen movement behind that coup attempt? Do you think that the Europeans or the Western countries bought that argument or suggestion or claim?
I've spoken with different intelligence services in Norway, Germany, EU, and all of them say that they don't believe that Fethullah Gulen was behind the coup. But that doesn't mean that I think that perhaps it can be a local or a lower level officers plotting it together, and that can be Gulenists in that plot together with the Kemalists and others. So they cannot rule out all kinds of Gulen-related people,
right,
because we don't yet know who is really behind the coup attempt.
So what do you think about the responsibility of the Turkish intelligence, director of the Turkish intelligence, and the commander-in-chief of the time, Hulusi Akar? Because right after the coup attempt, they became the confidant of President Erdogan. So they started to establish the country altogether. So they took over the entire country altogether. So what did you learn about their potential or alleged responsibility in that plot?
Of course, what I'm saying in the documentary, and I'm quite sure on that also, is that both Erdogan, Hulusi Akar, and Hakan Fidan, they knew about any kind of coup attempt or coup plot ideas long before 15th of July 2016. At least 1 week before. And we can also see, because I followed the movements of Hulusi Akar and Hakan Fidan minute by minute, 14th and 15th of July. And you can see very clearly that their movements, they are aware of what's happening, and that something is happening. And then you can ask, so what are their part in it? How do they move? Why do they move like they do? What do they think? What do they plan? Why don't they act? Why don't they say that it's forbidden to fly over any place in Turkey if they are afraid of a coup attempt is coming, a coup plotting is coming? So they could do a lot of things before 15th of July, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, did you?
So, and what is very, very spooky, you can say, is that when Erdogan ordered investigation in a month after the coup attempt, He closed the investigation after 3 months, you know, and in that investigation, neither Hulusi Akar or Hakan Fidan is being interviewed or asked to witness about their doings and their knowledge.
They refused to answer the questions of the the investigators, and they didn't go to the courts because lawyers were asking them to come to the courts to give their testimonies. But did you see that scene that General Hulusi Akar was not taken to the Akıncılar Air Base forcibly? So you see that he's going there with the other officers, very confident. So they say that Hulusi Akar was actually the leader of the coup, but then he just pretended that he was forced to go to to the Akıncılar Air Base as a hostage. So there is definitely something going on, and one day it will be revealed, I guess. So did you see that part, that when he was going to the Akıncılar Air Base? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I saw it, and it doesn't fit with what he's saying afterwards, that he was forced to go there. And also witnesses saying that he was never forced to do anything. He was by free will there to come and to go and to move around as he wanted to. So no one pressured him to do anything. And of course, when he say that afterwards that he was taken and forced to do it, it doesn't fit with the videos we can see from the scenery. So it would be interesting. I would very much love to interview Hulusi Akar about his doings those days.
So are you following the most recent developments in Turkey, the corruption? So there is that Sedat Peker, the leader of an organized crime group, so he made a lot of revelations about Erdogan and his close circles. He's right now located in United Arab Emirates. And there is another businessman, Sezgin Baran Korkmaz. He was arrested in Austria last week. And right now he's requested by the United States government. So, what do you think about these allegations, and how are these allegations perceived in Europe?
Yeah, I followed Turkish politics for a long time. I monitored a lot of court cases in Çağlayan and and I know how it works. That it's not really truthful what's happening in court, in the judiciary in Turkey, and it has been weakened year by year since 2016. When you think about Sedat Peker, it's very interesting because, of course, he was very close to, we all know that he was very close to Erdogan before, and we're listening closely to what he's saying. And a lot of the things that he's saying, it fits very well into the knowledge we already have. Like, for example, Cumhuriyet and Can Dündar, they already wrote about the MIT trucks bringing weapons to Syria and al-Nusra, and now he is confirming that this really happened, and he's also confirming other cases with the killing of one of the girls and the conspiracy. Yeah, a lot of the things that he's saying fits very well into what we have already been thinking happening. So I'm looking forward to what he will reveal in the future also.
Right.
And after the coup, I also went to US and followed the Reza case in the US court. Yeah, and it was also very interesting, even though he wouldn't say very much about Erdogan and his relationship to Erdogan, but he confirmed the corruption. He confirmed the deals with Iran, the oil trade, and how it all happened, and he confirmed very much that Erdogan and his family is taking out a lot of money from the Turkish state and the Turkish people. So we know so much about what Erdogan is doing, and all the European countries, they know everything about
They know.
And I'm sure, for example, CIA, they have a lot of material on what's happening in Turkey and what Erdogan is doing. But so far, they are keeping quiet.
You mean the CIA or the European Union?
The European Union, CIA is keeping quiet. I tried to ask CIA to reveal some material. I haven't got anything out of it yet.
Why are they keeping quiet?
I think this is an agreement now among the European countries, among the NATO members,
right?
To keep quiet, to keep Turkey as a member of the NATO alliance.
I see. So they are tolerating Erdogan and his old crimes for their own interests.
Yes.
And
so. I'm sad to say it, but I think so.
So in that case, the Turkish people are paying the bill because European Union and United States are tolerating Erdogan and his crimes. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
because, you have to know also the strategic position of Turkey. For a European and Western point of view, they cannot. That their way of thinking is that they cannot lose Turkey to an Eastern alliance, to Russia, and so on. That's a weakening, very, very strong weakening of the Western situation.
Right.
And it's a very strong military build-up also in Turkey. So,
did you notice that Sedat Peker stopped making videos? He stopped his videos a day before the NATO summits.
Yes, I know.
So he's in United Arab Emirates, and I think that United States is the only country which can tell United Arab Emirates to keep him quiet, to keep Sedat Peker quiet. Would you agree with that argument?
Yeah, I think he is a little bit on the run. He has to be careful. Of course, I think Erdogan's long arms stretching out to different corners of the world want to get hold of him. So he has to be very, very careful with his movements. Yeah. And perhaps he's also trying to make a deal with US, to escape to US. Because from Emirates, he can go safely to US if he wants that.
Right. So you believe that he may want to go to United States?
It can be a possibility, because that has happened with others. Yeah.
You hear anything about that possibility?
I haven't checked it out, but he has to search for a safe haven, for himself.
Okay. So if I would,
and he has a lot of knowledge. Of course, US is interested in his knowledge.
If I would make that headline, Western intelligence services know everything about Erdogan, but keep quiet. Would that be okay?
It's a strong headline, but I think it's the case.
It's the case, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jorgen. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
I had a remarkable guest from Norway today, Mr. Jorgen Lorentzen. So he is a film director, scholar, and a writer. And thank you so much, Jorgen.
Thank you. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.